Salutations and good morrow everyone, and welcome back to another Grounded video, where today we are hopping into the 1.0 update to Grounded to bring you guys a little bit of nostalgia here. What I'm going to be doing in this video is something that you guys have been asking me for the last couple live streams that I've had, and that is, Sim, can you go through and give us a little tour of all of your bases? So yes, I'm going to do that today. I'm actually going to turn my camera off for this one so you guys can just soak up the base itself. And I have quite a few of them to show you guys. And this first one I'm going to be showing you guys is rather special to me. This is the first base I ever built in Grounded. And it is still here. Even through the 1.0 update. Excuse me, Ladybug. Even through the 1.0 update, it is still here. This is the first base I ever built in a Grounded save. And I love that it is still here. It's made it all the way to the end of 1.0. It's here and we can still tour it. There's not much to it though. It's just a base. All right, let's go over to the second base that I ever built. Now this one took me a little bit longer to build. This one is a multi-part base that not only has a large entrance to it and is in my normal spot for building bases, but it also encompasses a large, well, bridge that runs over to a base that is built on the side of the oak tree. So let's give it a peek here. So going right up here, you can see that I built myself a sturdy place. Now this leaf used to be a full leaf, then it was no leaf, then it was a partial leaf. So that's why these stairs are here and that little area down there is there. But anyway, coming up into the main part of the base, this was kind of the first room that I had built. Then I had come upstairs and I built this. Nemalass, one of my mods, actually put that stuffed aphid right there. And this is where all of my armor sets and stuff were originally, how I was building bases back then, how I was leaving open spaces at the top of them because I wasn't doing them right. But anyway, going over here, this was just kind of like my first production zone. Then I came outside, built a place for some dewdrop collectors, and built a place for people to come and meet because I was talking about my mods and my members and stuff, being able to come in and join me, which is why I built that. Coming upstairs, some sleeping rooms, and then over here is what was my first armory that I built that didn't really have a whole lot of stuff in it, but nonetheless was supposed to become an armory. Let's get out of here though, and let's go back downstairs. There's even more to see down there. Coming outside, we have my gardens that I put up and more dewdrop collectors and my drying racks. And in here is my trophy room where I have all of my different heads of the creatures that I've fought and killed in the backyard at that point when I built that. Over here was all of my storage of weevil roasts and stuff because these used to not go bad. That's why these were all here. I think that's why all of those are still there, is because they're not bad. And then back up over here is something that I thought was going to be a trap for bees when they were first going to add bees to Grounded. So that's what this was supposed to be, a way for me to lower bees in here and be able to hurt them easier. This did not work out in my favor. Then, if you're wondering, this area up here was built so I could get up there and harvest flowers. That's what that was for. It was for me to get pollen and flowers. That's why that was built. All right. And this just gets me back up here if I still want to be up here, because I wanted a way to be able to get on my ceilings so I can defend from bugs and stuff like that. We're going through here and take a right into my zipline, well, welcome room. This is where my zipline comes into in case I ever have people over, as well as my hangout space with all my cushions and my armor that's over here. Like I said, zipline in from another base. We'll get over to that one a little bit later. And then we could go upstairs and I will show you guys where my little castle and tower went to. So up here, I built this awesome bridge that came up over here. This used to have a top on it, but once they changed the height of things, I had to take it off. And then I had this bridge right here, which I thought looked really, really cool. This little tunnel bridge thing, it reminded me of like old style bridges that go over rivers, which is why I liked it so much. Coming back over here, this was a huge pain in the butt to build, and you can see that I'm still not done with it. This was supposed to be a big upper level area for me to come in and hang out more or less and have another base. I never turned it into anything. Coming over this way, we're going to take a line down to our other tower that I have. So this is my zipline tower that I built that brings me to my 3 different bases. A castle, Lake Town, and my lookout tower. We'll go to my lookout tower to start with because it's the smaller of the 3 other bases I have here. So my lookout tower here that almost just threw me off to my death is a simple tower that I built. Wanted to test out a couple different things like ladders and staircases and stuff. This is when mushroom bricks were first added to the game. Wanted to see what they look like. Wanted to see how they would be built with. That's why this looks the way that it does. Now, coming down right over here, we're actually going to get to what I call Lake Town. What this is this is a zone that had a bunch of my moderators and a few of my members join in, but mostly my moderators. It was Edgar, Andrew, Blitz came in here, and they were working on this. This is all in all my full-on castle base of member houses. So here is Edgar's bar. This is his pub. He built this for himself, and I thought that it looked really cool. He put up everything himself, including the abominations that are over there. Coming right over here, I'm not sure what Blitz was doing here, but he built this little area with a workbench and stuff. Just a nice house for him to have. The thought of this was supposed to be people building on top of each other. Stuff like Lake Town from the Hobbit movies. And then right over here, this is where Andrew was building. He built some sort of upper area thing. I think it was supposed to be an arena of some sort is what that was supposed to turn into. And I had a bridge that went all the way over to the other side of the pond. What's up, Mr. Crow? All right, and then if you follow this up over here, we had what was supposed to be a master zipline tower that was supposed to go all over the upper yard area, but it never got finished, so now it's just a tower that stands there, as well as some gardens out here for me. All right, let's go check out my castle. Okay, so here we are at my castle, my original castle that I built, and this thing was meant to be a couple different things. It was meant to be a way for me to get up over to the berry lab easier by going through over there. That's now been blocked off by the giant milk carton. And then over here, a way to get all the way around the back end in case they ever did build anything that blocked that in. A way for me to get around, and you can see the path goes over there and then back around back over that way as well, so I can get in there. If we go actually over there, there is a room that leads to that area that looks just like this one all the way over there. But it doesn't even have a roof or anything like that. It was just all work in progress stuff that we never got around to finishing. Maybe one day I'll come back here and I'll finish this, but this is a lot of work that we've put into here. We had a workbench over there for when we first started building, but after a while we got built up another workbench that ended up here. So as we work our way up here, this was my little bridge to get up here, and this is the castle. So what this was supposed to be is this was supposed to be my round table. You can see it's kind of round, not really, but it was supposed to be my round table where my top members and me would come and hang out when we wanted to all come and chill together. Down here, I have a little bit of a basketball area for it in case anybody wanted to play basketball. Little storage over here that's got a bunch of random bug parts in it. And then back over here, I had what was a production room at one point, but then ended up getting torn out because they put in a big rock here. So this ended up getting torn out. The last of the ovens is still in there. And then this is where the production room kind of got moved to. There was more, and all of this was kind of shifted around ever since the update happened, because there was actually another room that was in here as well that had more ovens in it. They weren't just smacked in the middle there. Okay, following back over here, this is the Church of Bird, I'm sorry. And that's where you go to praise the bird god. So that's what that is. Over here, this was going to be a under area for me to do like more crafting and stuff like that. You can see it got filled in with dirt, so that got destroyed. More grass growing through my floors. And then over here leads to a larger room that led up. And then up here to another larger room that was supposed to lead up to be one of the main towers of the castle. Never was finished. Okay. Running out of there, we have the landing pad for the zip line that comes over here from that tower that's all the way over there. Okay. And then we go in and upstairs. We go upstairs. If we go to the left first, we have a more storage and a way to look out right here. And coming over here, another production room full of spinning wheels and a little lookout area if you ever want to get to the front of the castle and shoot arrows at people coming up. That's supposed to have a tower line there, but it didn't have one. By the way, all of this, if you notice how none of this is curved, all of this was built before mushroom bricks, before curved bases. That's how old a lot of this stuff is. Following down over this way, you could see my start of my storage that I was going to have for this workbench that was over here. I was checking how far back the storages would check and link to a workbench, which is why there's so many of them. And then upstairs is where things got a little bit more crazy. This is where I kept all of the stuff that we were going to be using for future builds, like grass planks and weed stems. Okay. Following back down over here, we have a mushroom room that grows mushrooms for me, and a drying rack, or 2 or 3. Up here is my bedroom. This is where I stayed. My bedroom. Isn't it nice? Got a couple armor sets for me, different ones I was using at the time, and mushrooms growing through the floor. And then if you continued to follow this upstairs, there was another room that was used for nothing at the time. And then finally up here, we had my zipline tower that was all the way up here that was meant to get me to my different bases, including my watchtower that was right over here. But if I remember correctly, this one does not get stopped by the flower. It is the other one that gets stopped by the flower, not this one. So yeah, this in all was my first bases that I made for my maps. I thought that this was a really cool thing to do, but this was all of the bases that were on the first map that I made. Now, this save is a little over 230 days old, and it is an awesome one. There wasn't really a whole lot more that was done on this map. My plans were to get a big base that was built up there, and another base that was built down over there, one that was built over by or on top of the base up there, but that never came to fruition. You know, surprisingly, for this castle, this mega build that I made here, it actually held up quite well in comparison to the updates than I thought it would. I thought that this thing would have been destroyed. Yeah, it's got some large plants through it and stuff now, and it's definitely overgrown, but I think it gives it character. It just goes to show that, hey, even some of the best builds can be taken over by the backyard and stuff. I think that this was a really fun build. This was my first castle I ever built. I got a more fun castle that's coming up at the end of the video, but nonetheless, it was an awesome one. But let's head over to another save that I have so we can see even more of the bases that I've built. Well, this base should look very familiar to all of you who have been watching my live streams and all my videos lately. This is my newer base. This is my newer save that I have. I started this one after curved walls and everything started to get added. You can see that as things upgraded and I was able to start building with more things. And you see the burrweed floors here. This was all in all my first base that I built on this save. And it just kind of evolved to a little production room up top. Gave me a little drying room that's down there. And then my zipline tower that's right here that goes all the way up. Now, you guys may be wondering, Sim, why don't you use bounce web towers in order to give yourself better zipline towers and stuff like that? Laziness. Only answer, laziness. But going through down here, I have an undercroft that's got all of my storage that's in it, as well as all of my armor sets that I use for different builds, including my favorite armor set that I've ever made in Grounded. But let's continue on, and we're going to go over to another one of my bases, a floating base that I have made. Now, this base truly defies gravity, guys. It's over here off of the sandbox and off of the picnic table, and then one long staircase that goes down. And what this is my floating base that I made to house all of my storage originally. This is where I thought I was going to be living. Now, this base was added after the Shroom and Doom update, and it was during the Hot and Hazy update is when this base was built, because they built up the sandbox and they added all this stuff over here. So I wanted to start getting a base over here. So that's where this came in, right? You can see I was testing out things with the turrets and stuff like that to build this base. There's some production in here and some more production upstairs. It was really like a good base for me just to do, well, making of things. But it never was like super special. It was just my base that was a necessity base, more or less is what it was. What do I need at this moment, and when am I going to need it? So that's what this base was. Now, working my way up over here, this is the base that I'm the most proud of in the game, because not only have I put a lot of work into it, but a lot of you guys have put your work into it as well. Yes, my moderators and my members have helped me build this base. From J-Dog to Pie Tremor, Boxboy, Risa, Gamer Kills, and Anadan, thank you all so much for coming over and adding your own little flair to this base. It's been absolutely fantastic to see everything that everybody's put together. Now, I started it off by building this zipline thing over here because I wanted an easy way to get into the upper yard no matter what, and this ended up working out really well. Coming up over here, I have this little landing pad. Now, this was built before this rock got adjusted, so that's why it's weird like that. But you can actually get in here now and see everything. So, the original castle was this room upstairs and my zipline tower that was over here. These walls weren't here, and this is the zipline tower. You could definitely see as more things have evolved and have been added to the game how I have adjusted things. I have some little storage here as well as a little exit right here. That's why I have to crouch under this. And coming outside, this is the back side of the castle, or the welcoming side of the castle, whatever you want to say. J-Dog built that. Boxboy built this. And then Anadan went ahead and put all of these little extra bombardier beetles and stuff in here. So there's little call outs for every single person that have gone and done different things on this base. You know, Gamer came through and added in a whole bunch of extra little things like some staircases and stuff and some torches and what have you. And as we built up this base, here's my little Harry Potter cover, by the way. As we built up this base, we started to notice we needed some more production over here. So Reese came in and put in some production buildings in here. Those looked absolutely fantastic. I have my water storage here, more water production out here. PyTremor went through and put in all of these dummies all around the base to make it so it's even more lively. I have another room up here. This is supposed to become my bedroom at some point in the save, but I just haven't done that yet. But that all in all is the castle, other than what's right over here, seeing my armory that's set up over here. Notice how I have armories in each one of my bases. And then this area up here that Boxboy ended up putting together that made it look really good over here. It was a little addition that he put on. I think it's like a theater of some sort, I think is what it's supposed to be, but nonetheless, I think it looks cool. Now, I do have one more base that's not as fancy. Actually, technically, I have two, and I'll zip over to both of them right now. I'm actually just going to float there because they're not very impressive, so I'll just go over here and float here to show you guys. This tiny little base over here, this is built out of necessity for me to have a way to get into this upper yard area. I built this before the 1.0 update came out, which is why it's still kind of in the rock, as you can see. But I made it so I would have a zip line point for me to be able to get over here and get back away from here to a couple of my other bases. And finally, I do have a base that's over here inside of this pagoda that I built a giant bridge in order to get over here to, that never got finished, and it's just kind of in here hanging out, and that's that. But guys, that is all of the bases that I have built in grounded saves that I'm actually worth showing. I built some other ones for just like testing purposes on other saves. But all in all, this is the one that I'm the most proud of. I think I did a really good job with this build. And then on top of that, with my members and my moderators able to come in and add a little bit of flair to this as well, it's made this one of my favorite builds that I have in the game. So thank you everybody so much who's come in and helped me build this. I think it looks absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to see what other forms this takes in the future. But thank you all so much for watching this one. Hope you guys liked this video. If you did, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe today and leave a comment down below of any other cool base build ideas that you might have. But thank you guys all so much, and as always, I'll see all of you guys in the next one.